Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, we will see how do we build a chatbot using the prompt flow. Remember, the primary purpose of a prompt flow is to automate your business processes, but not to build the chatbot. However, it provides the functionality so that you can quickly evaluate your chatbot, or when you have a very simple chatbot that you can use prompt flow. So having said that, we will see how do we build it. So if you see here, as usual, like I have a input, but only change it's that I have enabled the chart mode, which means that you will have a chart history and the question, and like I have a LLM here. It takes two input, chart history and the question, and what I do is that I have a Python program here. If you just come over here, simply what it will do is that it will keep the chart history, right? Now finally we will send the output. So it's very basic. Now let me go and give it a try here. As usual, like we will run the test, and I will provide the input question equal to what is LLM in one line. I'm just asking. I do not provide any chart history yet. So let the flow run. So it is responding to me saying that LLM is a large language or whatever is that, right? Now what I want to do is that I want to continue the conversation. So in this case, what I have to do is that I need to pause the chart history, because in my first question, I just initiated the conversation. Now this is the continuation, right? So in this case, what I will say is that use a role user content, what is the LLM in one line, and whatever the response that we received, right? It changes, but I just keep it some standard, right? Now I'm asking another question, any examples. So in this case, now the LLM will know that we are asking about the examples of this LLM. So this is giving us the example. Without the chat history, it will ask you, hey, what example you are talking about, because it doesn't have any context, right? So this chart history will give the context to the LLM, and based on which it can respond back to your question. Now again, if I go back and ask the LLM again, let me clear this console here. Now in this case, I have included both the responses to the very first question and this second question, right? Now I'm asking what is my first question. Now because I'm passing the history, it is going to respond back to me saying that your first question was what is an LLM, right? So now if you see here, using the prompt flow, we can very well achieve the chatbot capability. But again, just to reiterate, prompt flow, it's meant to automate your business processes, but not to build a chatbot. So now we can also go and extend the functionality. Let's assume that you're really interested in building a very simple uh, chatbot. However, it needs to use some content, right? What is that I already have my Azure Search in which I have uploaded the content. Now, when a user asks the question, the chatbot, it's expected to pull the information from the search and then respond back to the user. So now if you just come over here, this is again going to be a very simple flow here. So let me minimize this. So if you see here, this is just an extended version of that. So we have the input from the user and get the city information. So this is where search will get involved, and this search will give us the information. So we will pass that information to the chart as well as to the user question. The LLM will decide, will have the context and the question, and based on which it will respond back, and finally we will append the history and send the output, right? So if I just come over here, this is again a tool. So we already discussed about this search tool in our previous video. So if I just come over here, basically what it does is that it just takes the query from the user, and then go to the search and pull the information, relevant information. Then whatever the information that we have, say I am talking about Paris, right? And it is going and pull the information all related to the Paris city, and then pass it to the LLM. So if you just come out to the LLM, so in our previous flow, we had only two input. Now I'm making three input. One, the additional one, it's the context. The context will come from the city information, right? So apart from the history and the user input question, I'm also passing this external information to the LLM. Now LLM will have the complete information, the context and the history and the question, everything, right? So everything will go here. So if you just come over to this here, so I just added this context, I just provided the context, otherwise like there is going to be a conversation history and user question. So that's all we have, right? Now let me go ahead and run the flow here. So now again, like let me clear this console. So now let me go ahead and ask my first question here. So in this case I will ask, hey, what do you know about Paris? There is no history, right? I just asked the very first question here. Now it is going to start and respond back to me with some information. So what it will do is that if you just see here, so we provided an input, the get city information will get called, and the like it has some information about this city, right? So if you just see here, it collected some information from the search, and the like in the chart, like we are passing all this as the input. If you just come to the here, so we are just passing the context also here, the question history, we don't have any history yet. So but the like we passed the context and the question to the LLM. Now LLM responded something back to us, that is what we printed here, like answer whatever is that, right? Now what I want to do is that let me clear this. So now let me go and ask the next question. Now, oh, I'm interested in some museum, and I pass the information that I received from LLM, because like it's a continuation of that conversation, right? Now let me run the flow again. Now this is going back with all this information and respond back to me saying that, now let me go up here. So it is giving me some information about a Louvre museum in Paris, some information that I'm getting it here. Now again, so if you again go here, so this time around it again like went to the uh, search and receive that information, and that is being passed to the LLM, and we receive the information, right? So you can very well extend the capability, search bot capability using the prompt flow, but again it is not meant to build chatbot. This is only for evaluation purposes, or if you have a use case or something like this, very simple use case, very static use case, that you can use prompt flow to build your chatbot. That's all I have for this video. Thank you for watching.